So, new Go opponent today, yeah, you heard it. David. Doesn't sound like any other story, does it? Trust me, it was not. David, fellow Go enthusiast, gave me quite the competition, I'll tell you that. Got into this local tournament, right in the heart of Washington Square Park. For a moment there, forgot all about our hustle and bustle. Felt like I was back in Korea as a kid. That got me thinking. You remember how we used to play for hours? How each turn felt like this massive life decision? Well, it got pretty close today. Man, that adrenaline rush is something else. It really gets the wheels turning, messing with those simple rules. Yeah, simple until you're there on the battlefield. Just kidding. It's not a battlefield, but sure felt like one. Anyways, how has your day been? Anything mysterious paved its way through your regular agenda like this Go tourney did with mine? You know Rachel, right? She had this funny idea. Well, it's pretty cool to be honest. She brought up this local Go enthusiast group that we could form. Probably just a joke, but it might just be crazy enough to work, like have our exclusive enclave of Go enthusiasts. Granted, the turnout's totally unpredictable. We all have our passions though, right? You've got yours, I've got my drones and Go. We all find our little pockets. Speaking of passion, did we ever discuss how I keep mixing things up disastrously? Yeah, like playing Go while munching pastries. Absolute disaster. Trust me, you don't want to clean crumbs off a Go board. Despite the pastries being an epic fail, I might have enjoyed them a little too much if you know what I mean. We should totally have another group cooking session someday. Sam seems to be craving croissants lately. Wonder why that might be. Anyway, it's been a relaxed day so far. Just one of those days where you hope nothing changes. We all need days like these occasionally, don't you think? But you know me, work never sleeps. I've got to keep Neural Nest alive and thriving. And these Go match memories are starting to look dangerously like procrastination, like clouds in an otherwise clear sky. Well, brief intermissions like today, they are a sweet deal. They really are. They help even out the scales. Work on one side, life on the other. Think I need more days like this. Ah well, enough of waxing poetic about the beauty of balance. You know how I am. Never get enough of these abstract thoughts, do I? Now that you've heard a ton about my day, don't let me just ramble on. I'm excited to hear about yours. So, the AI Symposium today was an enlightening journey into the world of language models. With insightful speakers like Dr. Marissa Smith leading the charge, it was quite an experience. Delving into AI's potential in the education sector, it got me thinking, could this be the next big leap for Neural Nest? Talk about expanding horizons. It made me reminisce about our wild days back in college, mate. Late nights spent crunching code, pulling our hair out. Good times, huh? Look at us now, not exactly a bandwidth away from the next education revolution. And could you believe, amid all this AI chatter, there's our friend Sam, concerned about AI learning to burn noodles. Now there's a unique use case, ain't it? Maybe our next innovation is AI-made meals. Talk about a future where the food's never bad. Remember how I was trying my hand at brewing coffee? Let's just say, it ended up tasting like something brewed in a science lab. Not exactly the barista triumph I had in mind. Rachel seems to think my questionable coffee might be better handled by AI than me. That's when you know your coffee's really hit rock bottom. I've got to step up my game. And don't get me started on Sam subtly hinting he'd like AI to prevent him from burning his noodles. Guess we're all uniquely messed up in the kitchen. Oh well, at least I can lay claim to be a better Go player than a cook. Speaking of which, have you found any new opponents? Always eager to hear about your experiences. So, back to the symposium. The key takeaway, and one that's been playing on my mind, is how we can better facilitate learning using AI. Imagine absorbing complex information made simple and accessible. It reminds me of our days at Berkeley. Every step is mind-boggling background noise until you get the hang of it. I know, nerd alert. Who knew that languages, coding and AI could be such fascinating dinner-table conversation topics? Go figure. Reading our chat today reminds me how fascinating our little techie bubble is. One moment we're talking about Rachel's amazing bouche de Noël, and next thing you know, we're geeking out over AI and education. It's our own quirky universe. Guess that's the perk of being friends with tech enthusiasts. Who else appreciates the drama of the triumph when your program finally compiles after 78 tries? If not us, who, right? So pottery, beautiful, messy, and oh so therapeutic. Imagine, there you are, sitting in front of a rotating platform, a lump of clay waiting, and then it's just you imparting your magic into that formless lump. And as you spin that wheel, as the clay yields under your touch, it's a little magical to see something take shape from nothingness. You'd like it. It's sort of like coding but with a palpable, tangible end product right in your hands. Call me an old soul, but the joy of creating something manually, something you can hold, touch, feel, it's just different. A stark contrast to our world of intangible lines of code creating an abstract, virtual reality. But don't get me wrong, I love coding. It's just a refreshing change to use your hands once in a while, you know. It was Rachel who recommended this pottery workshop. Surprising given her less than stellar track record with messy hands-on stuff. But as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. She's a trooper though, silently enduring the clay splatters and seeming to thoroughly enjoy herself. Motherhood, I guess, prepared her in ways we cannot begin to imagine. Then there's Sam, our human emoji. If you could have seen the look on his face when he got his hands on the clay, I wish I had a picture to send your way. He looked like a kid who's been allowed to play in the mud after a long scolding about cleanliness. And trust me, his pottery attempt didn't look anything like what you'd call an object d'art, but it was an epic tale of man versus clay. Speaking of which, remember that chat about the bookstore Rachel stumbled into? Somehow the topic veered off books and landed on pottery. No clue how that happened. Our chats are mysteriously agile. But we did have a bit of a Lord of the Rings moment. The fellowship of the pottery wheel battling mighty lumps of clay. Felt like Frodo's struggle, trying to make that clay obey me. If there's one thing pottery told me, it's that I have a long way to go before mastering it. Sometimes it feels like startup life is all Frodo-like, embarking on an unknown journey, confronting unexpected dilemmas, facing down fears, learning, growing, every step of the way. Hey, remember how we talked about everyone associating their struggles with Frodo's journey? Well, turns out, it's not entirely wrong. The clay mound does resemble the Mount Doom sometimes. Worry not, no rings here to bear, thankfully. But man, manipulating that clay, being in control for that brief eventful moment, there's a sense of power there, a peaceful, yet dominant control. It was a good break away from being bombarded by those cold, hard business emails and reports. That's a battlefield I'll take another day. While we're walking down our metaphoric lane, think of it like this. The startup is our clay, and we're the potters, giving it shape, structure, and significance. The world's our wheel, and we're spinning it in the direction we want. On and on it goes, moulding, shaping, until we've created something to be proud of, our very own masterpiece. Let's keep this potter's wheel turning, mate. Shadows of orcs and golems may loom, but remember, the elders of tech have got our backs. And hey, no AI in pottery. It's a 100% handmade guarantee. Well, got to head back to my version of Mount Doom now. The last time I checked, no magical clay could shape an AI startup. Hundreds of emails are waiting for their Middle-earth adventure, but this little pottery detour, totally worth it. Catch you later, mate.